Get started right now. Welcome to the North Carolina Council on Developmental Disabilities Self-Advocate Discussion Series. I am Chris Hendricks, Policy Education Coordinator for the Council. On behalf of the Council, thank you for being here. This discussion series is a place for North Carolina's self-advocates to gather and engage with each other to talk about things that affect our lives as people experiencing life with intellectual developmental disabilities and other disabilities. We want this time together to be used to get to know each other and to get to know the Council, where I and other individuals with IDD are leaders, colleagues, and valued for our input because we are who we are. People with disabilities should always be valued like that, and this discussion series demonstrates why and how. Some of you may know that this is a special edition of the Self-Advocate Discussion Series today. The series has always been about discussing and listening to what self-advocates wish to share related to a specific topic. But today, the Council wants to listen and learn about any topic or any issues that are important to you, your family members, and supporters. The Council will be acting on what we learned today by using your input to help us create goals for Council investment, goals that become our 5-year state plan. The goals of this state plan guide the Council in investing in activities for positive impact in the lives of self-advocates and their families and those that support them. Now, I want to tell you a little bit about the Council. So if you've been coming and attending for a while, you've enjoyed our discussions, but you might not know exactly what the Council is all about. So we're going to talk about who we are. We're going to talk about how we can do activities like the Self-Advocate Discussion Series and why we do it. So, first of all, what is the Council? Well, the North Carolina Council on Developmental Disabilities makes sure your voice is heard. That is you, the self-advocate. The Council makes sure the people that make decisions hear your voice and know what is important to you. How do we do that? Well, the Council does that with a little bit of funds from tax dollars. So people pay taxes every year. They work hard to earn money. They give some of that money to the government. And luckily, we get some of that money to use on your behalf. We do that using guidance from the DD Act, which I'll go over in a little bit. And most importantly, and this absolutely is the most important thing, it's all done with your input, your voice at the table. So, who is the Council? Well, the Council, or the NCCDD, is a 40-person council made up of people like you and me, like people with lived experience, people with intellectual and developmental disabilities, also made up of family members, community partners or providers, and policymakers and community leaders. So while we don't do direct support, we do work to improve the opportunities and support for people with intellectual and developmental disabilities. We provide funding for projects like the Rossi Fund for Participant Involvement, where funds that go directly to individuals and families to attend conferences and other advocacy events to learn and expand their advocacy opportunities. We advocate for systems change, and we educate decision makers about the needs of people with intellectual and developmental disabilities because, believe it or not everybody knows who we are. Not everybody is familiar with people with disabilities, and not everyone who makes decisions in this community knows what a person with a disability is all about or the needs and wants that they have to live the best life, to live their best life. And we're here to make sure that one decision maker at a time gets to know you and your desires. We want to ensure that your voices are heard and that you have a say in the decisions that affect your lives. And overall, the NCCDD for short, our mission is to create a more inclusive North Carolina where individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities can live, work, and contribute fully to their communities the way that you want to. Some key things to remember. The council is one of 56 councils in a national network across the US. We receive federal funding, again, money from taxpayers to carry out our mission. And we're backed up and mandated by the Developmental Disabilities and Bill of Rights and Assistance Act. That's what I'm going to go over next. It sounds like a mouthful, but it's actually not as complicated as you might think, and it's pretty exciting. The Developmental Disabilities Assistance and Bill of Rights Act is a federal law that passed in 1970 to ensure that people with developmental disabilities have the same rights and opportunities as everyone else. It provides funding to each state, including North Carolina, for key programs, including the Councils on Developmental Disabilities, as well as protection and advocacy systems. The Act emphasizes self-determination, independence, productivity, integration, and inclusion in all areas of community life. It requires that states develop a 5-year state plan setting goals to improve services and supports. Overall, it's a foundation for advocacy, education, and support systems for people with intellectual and developmental disabilities. That sounds like a lot, but in the grand scheme of things, we are here to help you, the self-advocate, and the community in as many ways as we are allowed to, as is designated by the Developmental Disabilities Assistance and Bill of Rights Act. The 5-year state plan is a kind of roadmap that each state council on developmental disabilities creates to guide its work. It lays out goals, objectives, and activities that the council will focus on over the next 5 years. The plan is shaped through public input. That means you. Your voice is key for all of this in helping the council set its priorities. We want our priorities to be your priorities. Once approved by our federal funding agency, which is the Administration of Community Living / Office on Intellectual and Developmental Disabilities, or OIDD for short, the plan directs how a council will use its money and people and resources like funding, advocacy, and education. In short, it is the changes that you want to see in the community. Above all things, the changes that you want to see. Here are some areas that the council can support. This is what the DD Act says. The council will provide funding and resources that ensure accountability, advocacy, and outreach for its programs. In other words, we will make sure people responsible for connecting with you and expanding your voice are doing what they say they're going to do. Advocacy, which many of you are familiar with, getting out there in the community, making sure the community knows who you are and what you want. And outreach, taking all the things that you love, you want, and you need, and expanding it out there as far as we possibly can to make sure that we reach everyone from people in cities and towns all the way out to the rural areas that might not be as connected to resources as people in bigger cities. So some of the areas we focus on: childcare, education, employment, aka getting and having a job, formal and informal community supports. Formal community supports being those supports backed formally by an agency or an organization, and informal community supports being nonprofit community organizations that are not backed up formally by professional organizations yet offering support. Health, housing, aka a place to live, recreation, having fun, that's important for a well-lived life, transportation, getting where you want to go, and quality assurance, which is basically making sure that the tools that we have, that you have access to make your life better, are actually of quality, that things like ramps and curb cuts are not run down, things like elevators are working properly. Next slide is what this conversation is all about. It's about you. This is where we want to hear from you. If you've been to a self-advocate discussion series before, you know that this is about you to begin with, the self-advocate. But we really want to hear from you and your families today. There are 3 questions, but we don't need to limit this conversation to these 3 questions. I'm going to read I'm going to read them and then we'll start the discussion. So what is important to you? Question 1. What's really great in your life or community? Question 2. What do you want more of? Question 3. What's missing? I'm going to repeat it. What is really great in your life and your community? What do you want more of? And what's missing? There's a lot of ways that you can contribute today. Feel free to raise your Zoom hand. I'll look for your Zoom hand and then we'll unmute you and you can share your point of view that way. Feel free to answer the question in the chat if you're not comfortable answering the question aloud. And if you would like one of our staff to read your chat, just let us know and we will share the response that way. But this is really all about connection as much as it is about sharing. So if you're willing, please take the time to come off camera so that we can see your face if you're with us today. You don't have to. I don't want to pressure you, but we always feel more connected when people are willing to show their faces as well as share their message. Joshua, I see your hand.
How are you?
How are you?
I'm doing well. What is really great in my life and my community, I love volunteering at Durham Academy teaching woodwind instrument lessons, which is fantastic. I'm thankful that I've got my services. I have level 1 autism and I have services, which is great. What do you want more of? I would like even more arts in our community. They are key economic drivers and beneficial for us all. Um, I love music, performance, education, music production, all things related to music and creativity. So I want there to be more of that. What is missing? Funding for the programs I care about. Like, we need more Medicaid. We want there to be even more investment in arts funding. Like, we need to up that.
Why do you think that? So I love that answer. Why is the art so important to you?
It brings us together as a community. Like, we're the United States of America, united.
Mhm.
Um, and nations across the world are united. They're part of a well-rounded earth. Um, and it stimulates the senses positively, like with music. Music is organized sound and it stimulates the senses positively. And it's a key economic driver. The arts are part of a key economic driver and it enhances the quality of life tenfold.
When you say key economic driver, you mean that the arts bring more money into the community. Is that what you?
Yes. Um, it bolsters the economy and it creates tons of jobs. Like with music production, there's more to music than just music education, music performance. Both of them are important. crucial. There's also music production, marketing, audio engineering, retail sales. There's a ton out there. And it creates billions of jobs.
Joshua, that's a great share. Thank you.
You're welcome. So I really want us to work on that, increase arts funding and expand arts offerings, especially music making, and Medicaid and programming for people with varied abilities to integrate with the community. We don't want to leave anyone behind.
That's great.
All right.
Anyone else wanna jump in? Share their point of view, their perspective? I see lots of names here today, and I've spoken with some of you, and I know how passionate you are. What's really great in your life, in your community? What do you want more of? What's missing? Just a reminder, your input today is everything because we're going to collect what you have to say and we're going to use that data to determine what we're focusing on over the next 5 years. So if there's something you want in your life that you don't have, we want to know. Not just we want to know, we need to know. We need to know. We need you. We need you to speak up. Philip says what's missing is the jokes of the day. That's true, Philip. I meant to do a um, little apology to people who are used to a a different format. I promise that the jokes of the day will reappear next session. Well, maybe I can help get things started. So, what I like about my life right now is that I earn an income and I have a place to stay. I get to live um, independently and interdependently. That is to say, I get to live with me and my family, and we work together to keep up the home. Um, Joshua, you mentioned arts. I love the fact that I get to share my art with the community.
Yes. And my
That's a
favorite art
really
form is music, and I love other forms of art. I'm especially passionate about music.
it's a beautiful thing. I'm of course a little bit biased.
Biased? What do you mean?
Well, I play music. I've been playing music since I was 4, so
Amazing. I've discovered it at 3 years old. What do you play?
that's beautiful. I play guitar and sing.
Awesome. You play guitar and sing?
I do.
That's great.
I do.
Yeah, but I also enjoy the other arts too. Like the arts in general are amazing.
Well, let's hear from some other voices. What else do you enjoy about life? Don't make me call you out. I will. Nielis, I know you have a voice. I see you're here with us today. You're gonna make me call you out?
That's what I like about my life is being an IDD peer support specialist at Johnson County Industries, where I get to help um, the individuals I work with to lead self-determined lives.
So, what I'm hearing you say is that you basically like making sure that people with intellectual and developmental disabilities live as independently or interdependently as possible.
Yep.
And you want more of that, right?
Yes, definitely. Because I think that's important.
What do you guys think about the self-advocate discussion series? Do you guys want that to continue?
I think so. I think it's important. In a way for people to use their voice.
Larry Sampson, what do you think?
Hey, Chris, I actually am overseeing the actual the discussion series for a group of my members here. And they're actually asking them right this minute, but I haven't gotten all of their feedback just yet.
Well, that's okay. While you're taking the time to get the feedback, first of all,
Yes.
really glad you're here today.
Uh-huh.
Um, do you want to share what you feel is great in your life in your community right now?
Well, I mean, I think that the programs that I actually set up for um, uh, people and families are definitely working um, for what we actually have going on right this second. I definitely am an advocate, and I try to volunteer myself as much as I possibly can, and definitely give back. And I see the growth. I see what's taking place, and I definitely commend everyone for just coming together and making it all possible. Um, I'm definitely hands-on. Everyone can tell you here. So, and it just uh, it brings me joy to be able to actually um, to learn every day. And I'm not, just saying it just to be saying it, but to learn every day. And like I always tell everyone, I'm a work in progress.
Well, you shared a lot of really powerful stuff there, but what I hear, or one of the things that I heard, is that you think that education, educational opportunities, along with independence, is really important to the IDD community. Is that fair to say?
It is. Yes, absolutely.
What do you think is missing?
I would I would like to see still more resources available um, to families, to communities as well. I don't think that there can ever be a shortage of resources. And then I always push awareness as well. I think awareness is one of those things that society needs to open up more about. I mean, just and acceptance as well.
Hmm. Are there any particular resources that matter the most to you,
Um,
or matter a lot? Maybe most is too big of a word.
um, I would like to see more resources on, I guess, ADLs and more independence.
ADLs and more independence.
Yes.
And for those that want to know, what does ADL mean?
Activities of daily living.
Activities of daily living, like bathing, eating, things like that.
Yes. Yes.
Excellent. Excellent. Me Eckhoff in the chat says, I'll share in a little bit. I'm eating right now. Our essay discussion series does tend to take place smack dab around the time when lots of people need to eat. So I totally understand. And by the way, thank you, Brittany. Thank you very much for your comment earlier. That was big. Once again, a reminder of what we can support, just in case this sparks some ideas or conversation. Childcare, or things related to childcare, education and early intervention, employment and careers, formal and informal community supports, health, housing, recreation, transportation, and quality assurance. I don't know about y'all, but I think we're missing some ramps. Anybody think that ramps and curb cuts could be improved in our community? More elevators, more handrails. I know I can't be the only one. Again, if you don't want to speak necessarily and unmute yourself, feel free to contribute in the chat if you feel like that's more your style.
Chris, this is Melissa. I'm going to put a couple of the definitions of some of these areas that the council can support in hopes that maybe a little more detail will help folks kind of hone in on things that are important to them, that they either have plenty of, or things that they want more of, or things that can be improved. And you have a hand up.
I do. Philip, whenever you're ready.
This is Philip Woodward here. I want to say something about the topic of transportation. And I'm not a person with IDD myself. I'm a system change manager here at the North Carolina Council on Developmental Disabilities, so I'm able to drive. But what I want to say about transportation barriers is I facilitated 2 of the public input sessions in Charlotte. And I invited a friend of mine who has IDD, who lived in Huntersville, which is one of the suburbs north of Charlotte. And that person told me they were unable to come because they had no transportation to get to that session in Charlotte. So I invited them to come to one of our virtual sessions. But I also hope that we will be able to fix and address that issue so that that person will be able to come the next time we have a public input session or another event in Charlotte, because it's not very fair that somebody who lives outside of Charlotte isn't able to come to an event like this. So that's my comment for our 5-year state plan. Thank you for letting me share that.
Philip, thank you for sharing that comment. I'm going to encourage anyone who feels that they're able to raise your hand. Raise your hand in Zoom, raise your Zoom hand, or put a heart or a smiley face or whatever symbol you feel represents your need for improved transportation. Who wants to have an easier time getting from one place to another by car, boat? Demi. It's important to Demi. Anybody else? Important to Philip. Anybody else? No, it's important to Larry. Important to Melissa. Important to Little Dia. Little Dia. Am I saying your name right? It's a really cool name. Melissa, would you like me to read some of these definitions? Do you think it would be helpful? Ah, Ladia. Thank you for that correction. Thank you.
This is Melissa, Chris. Yeah, why don't you pick one or two and start by reading one of those definitions and see what kind of feedback you get.
You got it. So I'll start with one that's always been a little troublesome for me. Formal and informal community supports equals activities and initiatives that have creative strategies enabling individuals with developmental disabilities to become a valued member of their community. Ladia says her mic doesn't work. Well, thank you for sharing in the chat. Dave Owen, I know you're here. What do you like about the community, and what do you think is missing?
Are you talking to me?
I was talking to David, but
I heard my name.
you
I
can.
got a bunch of big trucks outside
Sorry.
the water main, so I missed part of that question. So I apologize.
That's okay. I was just asking what you like about your community and what you think is missing.
We are. I'm in Winston-Salem. We are very arts oriented. We are the city of arts and innovation. What we are missing. It's a good question. I guess there could be more activities, more outreach.
More activities like recreation or
Yeah,
more.
yeah, recreational activities. I've only got my finger on the pulse via I guess from Solutions for Independence, where I'm on the board, and through the Enrichment Center. But other than that, I'm not too in tap with what's going on outside of those. But so I would guess maybe more outside, maybe providers of entertainment.
Ah, okay. But I mean, I would say based on what I know about you, direct support professionals are pretty important, yeah?
Yes, I mean obviously that's an ongoing issue throughout, I guess, the America, the country. So obviously, direct support professionals, I guess, tapping into, uh, I guess I'm the anomaly because I guess Brian found me, but I was already had an art background. So I guess there's no exact science and behind the appropriate DSP. I guess it's just magic sometimes. I do like the outreach efforts with the college that Matt Potter's spearheaded and whatnot. But in terms of the rate increase, I think we're at a stalemate with that. It's been stagnant for a while, so that's kind of disheartening. The outreach for that, I think, it's probably on par with outreach for other people, with the adult and aging services, kind of goes hand in hand with individuals with disabilities. So in that factor, it's just a lack of DSP or the want to be a DSP
Yeah.
would be, my biggest gripe.
And then maybe streamlining it, right? As you've shared in the past, just lining the process of training the DSP and connecting the DSP with the people that need it.
Correct. Yeah. And then I guess maybe adding incentives as well, just being a DSP in and of itself is rewarding, but it's also grueling. So you want to feel like you're getting yourself a sense of self-worth. Maybe down the road providers will start adding insurance and maybe retirement benefits and whatnot. So I mean that's just
Yeah.
spitballing, see what sticks. Maybe it'll happen, maybe it won't. I don't know, but
It's a powerful spitball.
yeah,
Thanks, man.
no problem.
Demi, you have your hand up.
Yeah, sorry, I'm finally done eating. So I guess I'm finally starting to feel purposeful as a disabled woman. Always before I felt purposeful, I'm starting to earn that identity of being disabled. So that's working. I have a job. I'm in school, and I'm a huge disability advocate, and I live independently. So that's all working. And yes, services. I mean, yeah, it's our country are always under threat. And then the lack of like disability connection and disability like community. Like I know there are more disabled individuals out there. It's just like how do we get to them and connect? So like, no disabled individuals. It's just I don't feel a community. If that makes sense.
Yeah, so you want to be linked up with more
Yeah.
individuals with disabilities.
Yes, and I don't know if that like falls under any of these, but yeah.
I mean, that could be a combination of many things. It's really, I think, a combination of community supports and recreation, because I guess it depends on why everybody is getting together. But the self advocate discussion series is a great way.
Yeah.
But of course I'm biased. But like I love what you said about identity. And I'm not stealing the microphone from you or anything like that, but just what you said about standing in your identity um, as a disabled woman, and you're a super passionate advocate, and you have a job and you live independently. So you want to keep those things,
Yes,
I assume.
definitely. And I feel like it's always under threat, which is
Yeah.
very scary. Living always with a threat, yeah.
That is, I feel that especially now. So you're talking about a lot of really important things that are really important to you.
Yeah.
Um, and really, the quality of those things, because like,
Yeah.
you're happy with it, but you'd like to stay, you'd like to keep it that way.
Yes, exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Demi. Thank you so much. On, you're one of the most passionate people I know. What do you feel like you're excited about right now that you have, and what do you need? What do you think is missing? That's all right. We can come back. Georgette, would you like to share? Am I saying that right? Georgette Yarborough? No pressure. I'll read another definition. So, recreation related activities and initiatives that support inclusive recreational leisure and social community events. Maybe raise your hand in Zoom or put something in chat if you think that recreation is really important to you. Having fun. Anybody else other than me want to have fun up here? Demi's got her hand raised. Only Demi wants to have fun? You're kidding me. I know there's other people who want to have fun. I know Laudia wants to have fun. I know Sarah Potter wants to have fun. I know Brittany Ellis wants to have fun. There's a lot of people here who want to have fun. Joy is what feeds the soul. It's what keeps us going while we're trying to climb these mountains. we have to face every single day. Okay, I want to go over these questions. Hopefully not one more time. Philip put a party hat in the chat, which means he really wants to have fun. But I mean, everybody knows that Philip wants to have fun. He's really frustrated that we don't have jokes of the day today.
So we don't have what day today?
Of the day, we usually have jokes of the day.
Oh.
We always like to laugh our way into these discussions. Maybe that's what we're missing today, Melissa. Maybe we should have had some jokes of the day and should have found a way to put them in. Next, I'll read housing. Housing related. What are some things or activities that the council can do to support people living in their community or living where and with who they want? So let me ask you this. I already know one person who's going to raise their hand. Who wants to live independently? Who wants to live in an apartment or a house by themselves? Anybody? He's got her hand up. Anyone want to live with a family member? Anyone want to live with a community or in a community of other individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities? Brittany, are you happy with where you live? Brittany Ellis? See your face again, Brittany. You're muted though.
Oh, yes, I am. I have some individuals, so I'm trying not to keep them off camera, but I'm very happy with with how I live with my mother, but I'm still very independent and make my own choices of how I want to spend my money, like going to concerts and stuff.
Do you prefer living with family?
Yeah, just because of the big transportation issue. Although my mother doesn't drive, but I have a sister who lives right next door to me that helps with that. And then I use what we call JCAT's a bus system that helps me get to work here at JCI.
Okay. And so far it's worked okay for you?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm glad that it's working. But I heard transportation and in terms of housing, living with family, huge. Thank you so much, Joshua, and then Philip. Joshua, you got your hand up?
As far as housing's concerned, I need to. I'm right now with my parents, and I need to eventually go to a housing with someone else, affordable housing with someone else. Um, so what would be a good thing to help me do that the council would do?
Actually, Philip, who has his hand up, might be able to respond to you. Philip? Joshua was talking about housing.
That's a follow-up. I wanted to respond to Chris's question about are you happy where you live? I have a friend in Asheville who has IDD, and he was living with a roommate last year until he moved into a new apartment in November, and he seems happier living by himself on his own. And he has a direct support professional come work with him 2 days a week and do things such as take him to the grocery store.
Mm.
He has told me that because he lived near a Social Security office, there's a bus stop that can help him get around town near his apartment. But that bus only comes Monday through Fridays. So he has to walk more on Saturdays and Sundays or try to get a ride from somebody in the weekends.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one issue that he faces where he lives. And also on the subject of affordable housing, I'm involved in some discussions and some work groups to try to do what we can to make more affordable housing options available in North Carolina. So if you're interested in talking about that topic or exploring it with me, feel free to let me know and I'll put my email address in the chat. Thank you.
Thanks, Philip. Thanks for that contribution. Joshua, did that actually help answer your question at all?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Awesome. And there's Philip's email in the chat. And I'll share that along with anyone else or anything else that any other resources that we gather today in a follow-up email for those who attended.
Okay.
Emily Farina, welcome. Welcome, Sarah. Francisco, Georgette. Larry, you mentioned earlier that you were gathering some input over where you're at. Do you have some input to share? No pressure. This conversation is tough today, guys. I know. I get it. Hard to talk about our wants and needs sometimes. I've been there.
Chris, this is Melissa. Can you see the next slide on this screen?
I cannot. I'm seeing. I am. Excuse me. I'm sorry. We talk about your topic. We're coming down. So we got a few minutes left, but and there's been a lot of breathing room this session. But I want to give anyone and everyone an opportunity to contribute. And again, if you don't want to unmute yourself and share that way, you can share in the chat. Just as a reminder, the topic's childcare. Childcare is something I'm very passionate about. I am fortunate to have a 7-year-old daughter at home that I take care of with my wife, Heather. Education and early intervention, big topic. I'm certainly grateful for the education I've received. Employment and careers, getting a job, earning money, formal and informal community supports, health related, housing, recreation, transportation, and quality assurance. Is there any topic you don't see on the list that you want to talk about? Again, the council is here for you, always, but especially today. I also want to make note of the QR code. There's a QR code on the screen that you can use to take our shortened survey. You can scan the QR code using your phone. If you don't want to use the QR code, but you're interested in the survey, I'll share my email with everyone and you can reach out to me and I will send you the survey. But that's a great way to offer feedback as well. If you didn't necessarily want to talk about what you were passionate about today, but you still have something to say, the survey is a great place to put it. Joshua in the chat says, for employment, I am a screener and greeter at DPAC. I love it there so much. I'm also seeking a full-time role within the performing arts industry. It is that exciting. Yes, it is.
Yes, it is, he said. Yes, it is.
Absolutely, it is.
Wonderful.
Yeah. Any more shares? Don't be shy. Kathy Jones, anything to share? Yvonne? Okay. Well, next we have a poll, and this is where we want to make sure we're doing everything right. Okay. We want to learn a little bit about you and what you think of the discussion series. You should be seeing a short list of questions. And when I say short, I do mean short, nice and easy. I'm going to read the questions. I am a self-advocate, a parent, a family member, or neither. I live in a big city / urban area or a small town / rural area, excuse me. I think the self-advocate discussion series is good or bad. I learn from the self-advocate discussion series always, never, or usually, aka most of the time. And E, I use the Spanish language channel. Kathy Jones in the chat being super honest. Not much of a talker, but I'll send a note with our details. That's perfect. Thank you, Kathy. Really appreciate it. So what's next? Thanks for taking the time to fill out the poll. We really appreciate it. We're going to be collecting input from everyone through September 30th. On September 30th, we're having our final listening session, and it's virtual. Your information will be used to develop the draft goals and objectives for FFY 2027 to 2031. So the year 2027 to the year 2031. And the reason why we call them draft goals is that they are subject to shift and change based on what your needs are. So again, continue to offer that feedback. The draft goals and objectives are going to be distributed for your review and comment in early 2026. And the next 5-year state plan starts officially October 1st, 2026. Here on this slide is contact information for the self-advocate, not just the self-advocate discussion series, but the North Carolina Council. It's our address and our office and our website and a phone number. And thank you all so much, whether you jumped in today and shared what you loved, what you didn't love, what you felt like was missing, whether you were here as a listener. We are so grateful for you. I want to take the time to thank our Spanish interpreters, our ASL interpreters. Thank you, Captioner. Thank you, staff, who work so hard behind the scenes to make this magic happen every single month, especially this one because the materials totally shifted and changed. We're especially grateful, of course, to the self-advocates who are able to jump on with us every single month. This certainly would not exist, and our hard work would not exist, and our community would not exist without you. So thank you all for being here, and thanks for the claps, Francisco. And we look forward to seeing you next week. Please, once again, take our shortened survey by using the QR code that you see in front of you or using the link. And next month, the third Wednesday in October is our next session, and it's called Getting Active in Advocacy. And we're definitely going to hear from some self-advocacy experts when that time rolls around. So be on the lookout for that. And I'm also going to be sending out a special email for November where we're going to be doing a showcase. So Joshua, you're really passionate about the arts. You're definitely going to want to jump in on that one. And Joshua says, I usually find the self-advocate discussion series helpful, and I will be sure to attend future sessions. Awesome. Thank you all again. We appreciate you, and we look forward to seeing you in October. Take care, everybody.